I just finished Elden Ring. Was it worth almost 100 hours of my life? Let's find out. As someone who's played and completed every single Souls game in addition to every DLC and side quest, I was extremely excited for Elden Ring. I had a countdown on my whiteboard and would watch update videos on it every single day. Shout out to Mordecai. And I woke up at 3 a.m. with a few of my buddies to play it when it first came out in New Zealand time, and it absolutely blew me away.
Holy shit!
My initial awe was brought from how much it felt like there was to do. I was super overwhelmed. I was frantically taking notes on my phone throughout the playthrough, and I never looked at them again. Because as soon as I started one thing, I would kind of notice something else around the corner, and then it turned out to be a whole area or a whole new thing. It was just crazy. My mind was absolutely blown when I first found the trap chest and I got transported to Caelid. That was insane. The way that area gave me such a strong Bloodborne vibe, it made me so excited. I heard someone say all the other games give you one holy shit moment, like when you reach Irithyll of the Boreal Valley in Dark Souls 3.
Holy shit!
But I swear Elden Ring does it every 15 minutes, and I completely agree with that statement. The craziest part is every single time I thought there couldn't be more, there was more. There was a lot more. I have around 85 hours played right now, and I know there's more. I know I missed a ton of quest lines and so many bosses and so many dungeons. It's absolutely insane. I was worried when I saw that it was an open world that we'd miss out on the cool areas like the castles and stuff from the older games, but I was completely wrong. The open world has so many different levels and even underground areas that are a bit more linear like the older games, and they're absolutely amazing. The enemy variety as well as the build variety is insane. The amount of weapons and spells and ashes of war you have available to you is just, oh my god. And things like this are what keep me coming back to these games, and I really appreciate all the work that they put into them.
This grind is hard work, fam.
Being able to run through the game to pretty much any area off the bat makes it so much fun because I know I'll be able to set up any build almost immediately. This game truly feels like a combination of all the Souls games. I know everyone says that, but I can actually point out specific things that remind me of each game. The combat system feels like Dark Souls 3 with Bloodborne and Sekiro's aggression, where you need to stay on their ass if you want to win in the end. Especially with the main bosses, your only hope is getting a riposte pretty much, and that requires a lot of aggression. I think most people would agree that's the most enjoyable form of combat. I love the passive approach of Dark Souls 3 where you wait for an attack, get 1 or 2 hits in, then retreat, but something about Elden Ring's approach just feels different. You can definitely still do that, but it feels like the game is constantly pushing you to fight a little bit more aggressively. The jumping and crouching is obviously taken from Sekiro, but the invisible poise posture type bar is a huge addition that not that many people have mentioned. The art style reminded me a bit more of Sekiro from time to time as well in certain areas, which was a pleasant surprise because Sekiro was beautiful. The stone sword keys are obviously taken from Dark Souls 2 based on the Pharaoh's Lockstone item, where you can use it to access a secret area with a secret weapon or a set of armor or something like that. I honestly thought these would be more prominent in Elden Ring just since I felt like there were so many of these in Dark Souls 2 with super important items or bosses, but every time I saw an opportunity, I used the key, and I never seemed to run out of them or find anything too crazy. But I will say the talisman you get from the first stone sword location is incredible and totally worth how much of a pain in the ass it is to go grab it. Unfortunately, another thing brought over from Dark Souls 2 is the reskins. Reskins are in every Dark Souls game, but this one was ridiculous. After about the 10th Crucible night, it started getting a little bit old. Some of them I didn't mind, but it was really disappointing to go through a fog wall and see another red wolf I have to fight for the 1000th time. Personally though, I'd rather have more bosses in a Souls game as long as it doesn't affect the high quality fights that I actually look forward to in these games. I think this happened a bit to Dark Souls 2, but not Elden Ring, so I can't really complain too much. And that brings me to the bosses. Bosses are my favorite part of these games, and I found myself running through a lot of the areas in Elden Ring just trying to find the boss. And this was my main problem with the game. It's entirely a personal issue, but it was really just that I didn't feel like I had much incentive to actually fight the enemies in Elden Ring, just because at a certain point of the game, I felt like I didn't need to keep aggressively leveling up to stay balanced. The bosses drop so many runes that I basically could go through the entire game only fighting them and still not feel that underpowered. But I also think that's the beauty of this game. You can truly do whatever you want. The real bosses in this game are incredible. Malenia is probably in my top 3 Souls bosses of all time. Margit, Godric, all the late game bosses, they're incredible as well. I was very worried that they wouldn't be super challenging to me as someone who's pretty much figured out the entire Souls formula by now, but they still managed to make it extremely challenging. I didn't have the same amount of trouble as I did when I first played a Souls game, of course, but I like how they switched it up by delaying moves and giving crazy transformations in the second phases to kind of throw you off. The convenience of Stakes of Marika or Marika completely changed this experience as well. I feel like I was way more willing to keep trying a boss over and over because I didn't have to deal with like a 10-mile run back. Also, just knowing that you can leave the boss and go do something else whenever you want it made me a lot more willing to try again. The quality of life changes that Elden Ring brought in comparison to the other Souls games make it really hard to go back and play the others. These changes were long overdue, but it shows that they truly did learn from their past experiences. So, was it worth 4 complete days of my life? Yes, absolutely, and it will get so many more. While I have my certain thoughts about the design compared to the other games, I can say objectively that it is an absolute masterpiece and undoubtedly the best Souls game in the series. This game is perfect for new players and veterans, and I highly recommend you check it out if you haven't already. It's some of the most fun I've had while playing video games in years, and it felt extremely refreshing. If you're a new player or just want a tutorial for a cool build, I recommend you check out the video on the screen right here to see how I made my build. That's all for now, and I'll see you all next time. Peace.